Good morning, crafty friends. Welcome to another episode of Angela Shows You. Today is going to be just a quick episode on boxing corners, and that's all that we're going to do on this one here today. I've done boxing corners before in a full episode where we did a full tutorial on making like a tote bag. This one is going to be for just boxing the corners. If you want the full episode of making the tote bag from start to finish, I can leave a link to one of those also. But if you are just looking to learn how to box corners, maybe you're making something else, then hopefully this one will be short and right to the point. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am making a tote bag, and I have already taken my fabric that I'm using and I sewed my tote bag. This is the interior, and I've already sewn it. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to want your material right sides together. So I've got my bag here right sides together. Okay, so we're gonna just do this, and we're gonna come right here to the bag. Okay, so I've got this handy little ruler. This is great when you're doing boxed corners because it's a nice small ruler. However, you could also just use a regular ruler as well. But this one's nice because it does list you your 1-inch marker, 2-inch marker, and then this goes out to 2.5 inch. So for this particular bag, I am gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna do the full 2.5 inches because this is a big bag. So I want the bottom of the bag to have a nice base. But if you wanted to do a smaller, so for this I'm actually just going to be able to just put my ruler, I'm gonna do in the corner, and I also have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm actually not gonna have the full 2.5 inches when the bag is done. But I'm gonna just line my ruler up, and I'm going to use the corner. Now if I wanted it to be the full 2.5, I could actually start at my seam here, and I could measure the 2.5 from the seam allowance. So this is actually going to give me a 2.25 inch seam allowance. Okay, so you can use a regular pen for this because you're going to be cutting this out, so you're not going to see the line. So if you wanted it smaller, say I wanted, just a 2-inch from the corner, I would go ahead and I would just mark on the 2-inch spot, and I would draw the line. And then I would just take my ruler and I would draw down here. But since I want the full 2.5, oops, okay, and then I'm just going to do the same thing on this other corner. Okay, so I've drawn, and all I'm going to do is we're going to take our fabric scissors and we're going to cut go. Okay, so the next step that you're going to take when you're doing your boxed corners is you're going to open up your bag, and you are going to open up the bag, and you're going to, so you're going to take your bag that's flat here, you're going to open it this way. So you've got your side seam, you're going to open it that way. Then you're going to want to take your seam at the bottom and the side seam, and you're going to line that up. Now what I like to do to keep it flat is I'm going to take one seam, fold it one way, take the other one, fold it the other way. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip that in place. And do the same thing on the other side. And of course, you could always pin this as well. You don't have to use clips. And then we're just going to go ahead and we are going to sew and then of course we'll repeat that on the other side. So now my bag, when it's complete, it'll have that nice interior at the bottom for fitting all kinds of whatever it is that you are making a tote bag to carry. So that's it, boxing corners. It is super, super simple to do. You just, want to decide what size is your bag. So this is cut about 17 by 17. So I find that 2.5 inches somewhere in there is actually a really good size of the corner for a bag of this size. If you were, doing something smaller, you would probably, want to do a little bit smaller of a boxed corner, unless you're making like a box bag. And that we are actually going to do a video on that very soon. So stay tuned. I hope that this was helpful. Please give a thumbs up, and you haven't yet subscribed to Angela Shows You. I hope that you will consider doing so. See you next time.